launch operations. There was, as you mentioned, a statement put out by the Polish Operational High Command, which said that the air defense, ground-based air defense.
Tonight at 10, Donald Trump's close ally Elon Musk contradicts the president on the tariffs that have caused turmoil in global markets. Tonight at 10, Donald Trump's close ally Elon Musk contradicts the president on the tariffs that have caused turmoil in global markets. It comes as Jaguar Land Rover says it's pausing shipments to the US this month because of the 25% tax imposed on car imports into the US. Good evening. Donald Trump's imposition of taxes on foreign goods, or tariffs, has been questioned by his key ally Elon Musk. Mr. Musk said he hoped there'd be a free trade zone between Europe and the US with zero tariffs. Today, the British firm Jaguar Land Rover announced that it suspended shipments to the US this month in response to the tariffs imposed by Donald Trump.
The President followed up with this. Hang tough, he said. It won't be easy, but the end result will be historic. We will make America great again. The tariffs vary from country to country. Chinese-made goods going to America will be hardest hit, with charges of 54%, are facing, some of the highest percentages. By comparison, the UK and EU are facing levies of 10% and 20%. Concern in Sheffield at the prospect of having to pay 25% more to export to America.
25% is a lot of money, depending on how much we can pass on and whether that impacts the demand.
The Prime Minister has been holding talks with world leaders to discuss how to respond to Donald Trump.
Let's go straight to Washington to our correspondent Peter Bowes. Peter, President Trump seems determined to persevere, but has he been undermined by Elon Musk?
Well, Donald Trump and Elon Musk don't agree on everything, but their relationship seems to be close enough, I think, for him to accommodate differences in opinion, at least in the short term. His goal is medium to long term. But I think if he was watching television today in between playing rounds of golf in Florida, he will have seen how the American people, at least some people across this country, more than 1,000 demonstrations across the US, people who were planning to demonstrate anyway before the tariffs were announced on issues like breaking up the education department, of sacking government workers, but also expressing their strong feelings about tariffs. And I think what we learned, at least today from those demonstrations, is that the sense of unease in this country is becoming more palpable.
The Labour Party has suspended the MP Dan Norris. Israel's military had said approached suspiciously and without lights. But the footage shows the convoy did have headlights on. Here, 2 people have died following a fire at a caravan park in Lincolnshire. Time for all the sport now. Let's go to Jane Dougal at the BBC Sports Centre.
There yesterday, but his friend and advisor, Elon Musk, suggested a completely different approach, zero tariffs. So with us this morning...
It's a lose-lose situation, global tariffs. It's bad for consumers, it's bad for business, it's bad for the global economy.
And Jeremy, I mean, it is another jaw-dropper coming out of the White House, but, you know, Trump says one thing, yesterday Elon Musk says another. Do you think anybody really knows what's actually going on?
Do you know, at the very start of Trump's second term, he was inaugurated on the 20th of Jan. On the 29th, there was a plane crash in Washington, and he blamed diversity and air traffic control. And at that moment, I thought, this is going to be a wild ride. And obviously, now Musk is disagreeing with him on this, and he's running a show, Laura. That's what he's doing. We're the audience. He's running a show. And I would expect that he would come over and do the state banquet with the king, come out and say, we're cancelling the tariff on Britain now.
Really?
I really think that's what we're building up to here. It's that crazy.
And yet, business, Siobhan, has to take this really seriously, doesn't it? Because if you just hope it's not going to happen, you might really lose out.
I mean, it is happening. It is happening. You know, there is some relief out there that it's 10%. It could have been a lot worse. But actually, that's not the case if you're a car manufacturer.
Emily, how do you then see this? You are steeped in international affairs. What does this mean? Let's assume for a second it does go ahead, and maybe we'll talk about the on-off a bit later, but assume that this is really the concrete plan. What a 7 days this has been since President Trump's quite surreal performance with his notice board of tariffs. Siobhan, you represent hundreds of businesses around the country. Is this really a game changer?
So on Thursday, we talked to our chamber CEOs all around the country. We've talked to hundreds of businesses over Friday and Saturday. And yeah, they're really, really concerned. And of course, that's in a week where they're facing national insurance increases too. So they're still assimilating a lot of it. It's They're still assimilating a lot of it. It's 10% blanket tariffs, but if you're a car manufacturer, aluminium, steel, it's 25%. All round, it's a lose-lose situation, global tariffs. It's
did it tell her about the tax bill on TikTok,
No,
or
she
was
was
that like
at the age
hidden
of 14, believe me, she was shocked and disgusted. But what was
Did she
interesting
pay
was TikTok then worked out that she was only 14 and shut her account. And I was going to complain to TikTok about it. And I thought, no, actually, they're doing a good thing here. They don't want 14-year-olds.
Roxy and Esther's campaign is called Behind Our Screens, and you can contact BBC Action Line if you've been affected by those issues. There's lots of help out there, and a lot of it's pulled together on that website address on the screen for you there now. It's so affecting to hear these individual experiences. What I was really interested by hearing Roxy speak was about this generation gap.
If Israel has something to hide, then that would be a terrible thing. But frankly, they should be open to parliamentarians going to see what is actually happening on the ground.
OK, well, without question, this is going to be a big story developing through the day. Let's then talk about the big picture of the economics here. Siobhan, on tariffs, on the UK's approach, what did you make of what Darren Jones said?
So angry about Starmer since the start, about the winter fuel allowance and the farmers' tax and the NICs, which you've mentioned.
All of our guests, and of course, most of all to you for spending your Sunday morning with us. It's 22 hours until the stock market opens here tomorrow morning. 28.5 hours until the bells will ring on Wall Street. Will they be calling time on the way the world does business? We knew when Donald Trump returned to office that it might be bumpy, but I'm not sure that any government, including the UK's, really bargained on it being like this.